the channel. This is part 2 of the video of what's your profession in product design. And today I've got Michael, my lovely friend, to be part of the video. So here's the question. What sort of challenges do you find in UX design so far?
Yeah, so some of the challenges that I've been finding so far, or even lately, are trying to take in a lot of people's opinion, thoughts and ideas and making sense of list inputs. When you work in UX design, like I've mentioned, it can be quite collaborative and you tend to have to talk to lots of different people who have different levels of knowledge about the subject matter that you're trying to design for. And it can sometimes be quite overwhelming to get all of the feedback all coming in from different angles at once. So I'd say, what I found quite a challenge and still sometimes do is trying to learn how to make sense of all of it and know which direction I feel is the right way to go forward with, and making sure that I've managed to feel confident about why we've gone down this certain direction as well. And I'd say the next one would definitely be having patience, I guess, in your career. It can be really easy to see a lot of people out there with different skills and techniques that you might want to try and get better at, but it's also about making sure you master what you currently do have as well and making sure you're still growing there. It can be really common to try and become this master of everything approach in UX, but to be honest, being able to know a bunch of skills really well and master them is much more important than being a jack of all trades but a master of none in the UX industry.
What is the most memorable challenge you have overcome?
I would say the most memorable challenge I've had to overcome in the last 2 to 3 years of my career is learning how to become much more confident in leading and facilitating user testing and user interview sessions with actual end users. I found this quite a challenge because even though I feel quite confident with articulating my design rationale and why I feel doing a certain design changes with us doing for the end user, I always found it quite challenging to do the leading or a one-on-one user interview or user testing session with an end user. Especially because, the people that we serve as designers are all generally very busy, and it's me taking a lot of their time away in the day to get more insights for my work as well. But it's definitely a very core part of the design process, and I've really enjoyed being able to improve that skill in the last 2 to 3 years as well.
So how did you overcome the challenge of speaking to end users?
I overcame this challenge a lot more by getting really lucky and having a lot of people help me and mentor me. In my last job, I was really lucky to be able to work alongside a design researcher, and she was really great in giving me some practical tips and advice on how to be a better speaker and be a better facilitator in this part of the UX design process. And I was also very lucky to work with a really great product owner or project manager for the technology industry. But outside of work, I also was really lucky to get a lot of networking opportunities at the UX meetups as well, and being able to surround myself with new people who I haven't met and who vary from different skill levels, from junior to senior. It meant that I was consistently having to evolve my communication and leading skills with conversations. I feel that really helped me feel a lot more confident talking to new people all the time. And outside of my day job, I also do design mentoring, where at times you may get a quieter mentee who isn't quite sure how to ask questions, and that's where me as the mentor having to help facilitate and help lead these conversations a bit more really helped me become much more confident in these one-to-one interactions and be able to carry the conversation on forward to help uncover what we're trying to help fix for this mentee as well.
For the past few years as well, do you think UX design has become more and more popular?
Yeah, I would definitely say UX design has become a lot more popular in the recent years, especially due to the worldly events that go on. I feel that the pandemic was one of the large catalysts behind UX rising. Over the pandemic, especially in New Zealand, a lot of industries were forced to not necessarily shut down, but they had to close their doors for quite a long period of time, especially in 2021 when we had the 4-month lockdown in Auckland as well. And in that time, a lot of people were starting to assess what kind of career they might like to try out next or what they might like to pivot to. And I feel like UX is one of those industries where it really broke the myth that you need to design just pretty visuals to be in UX or that you need to code in UX as well. And that's one of the reasons why it really started to spike up. That means that a lot of people have more time to reevaluate what they wanted to do and what they actually really wanted to try for a career. And UX design, I feel, is one of those areas that really skyrocketed because of that time off where people could think about it. And also it helped break that misconception that you need to focus on doing just the UI design or the coding to enter the tech industry. Startups also start to boom over the COVID years and start to come up with innovative digital ideas that would combat some of the events going on in the pandemic, such as different apps out there that help trace where you are, or a lot of video interviewing software as well. And on the flip side to that, there are also a lot of bigger companies out there that have to move a lot of their services online. I think a really good example is like a communications company. Whilst they still will always have stores and have had a lot of their experiences start to move to digital over time. And I think that's just another really good example of where UX has really started to spike up high for interest in the world nowadays. How about you, Martina? With UX rising and you being one of those really great individuals who's made the move over, what made you decide to want to move to the UX industry as well?
Great, that's a good question. For me, for the past 3 years before I actually got into UX design, I was actually working in business management and also hotel management for a little bit. This is how I discovered myself enjoying a role that's more project-based, which is allowing me to get more feedback and also constantly finding solutions to make more improvement. After getting to know UX design a bit more with my own research online and also talking to different people like yourself, I have discovered UX design is not just about making things pretty, it's more about getting to understand the business side of the story as well as users. I really enjoy and appreciate this kind of process, coming up with good solution for business or for their products. So UX design definitely has inspired me a lot, and I do enjoy being part of this by utilizing my creative thinking and also analytic skills as well. So that's how I wanted to break into UX design, and doing bootcamp, also talking to people, trying different resources and making my own portfolio, and eventually landed a job.
That's really awesome to hear. So when you were applying for jobs, Martina, did you find that the other experience that you had outside of UX helped you in that application process?
Yes, definitely. From my past work experience, I have gained a lot of soft skills, which is including how to communicate with people internally, externally, effectively. And those skills are very transferable. And that's how I think I was able to present myself in a way that, even though I'm a new starter in this industry, but I'm always looking for opportunities to learn, to transfer all of my soft skills into the role that I'm applying for. Also giving back to businesses with what I've got from my previous roles as well. What sort of advice do you have for people who are just getting started in the industry?
I really like that question. That's a really great one. So I would say the main piece of advice that I would encourage upcoming UX designers to remember is that not everyone knows everything in the industry. It's a huge industry with lots of different techniques and opportunities to grow as well. But it can be very overwhelming sometimes when you start out to feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel and don't know anything. But what I really like to try and remember is that when you are hired in your first job, you're not just there to do the work. You're there to also learn and grow in the company as well. And a way that I've been really lucky to help me, keep those levels of imposter syndrome or self-doubt, not necessarily gone forever, they still creep up, but to a lesser extent, is to keep myself surrounded by people who want to help me, but also surround myself with people who I can help as well. By being around people who can help me grow and further myself as a designer, it helps remind me that even though I don't know as much as I may like to. It keeps me remembering that I'm on the way to getting there with people's help as well. And with like the mentoring that I do outside, being around people who I can help and people who would like to come up and ask me for advice reminds me that there are people out there who see value in what I do and are really happy to learn from me, as I like to learn from other people as well.
Awesome. That's very nice to hear. It means a lot to me as well from what you just said. Me, who is a starter in UX design or even the design industry, I think it's very important to make sure that you don't feel afraid of asking for feedback, and when you get feedback you are able to proactively get on to making improvements and also making changes to how you work. It's always good to get to know how other people do their work, and that's why I enjoy being able to network with you and with a lot of other people in the related field as well. It's just so important for us to really be open-minded and stay open to learn different things and asking for feedback. Alright, it has been a very productive conversation, and thank you for making this video with me. I hope it can be helpful for those of you who are just getting started in UX design. And for Michael, do you have anything else that you want to add?
I do. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to Montina's channel. It's a really great channel to help people when they're looking for new careers or starting out in their career, to know what kind of opportunities there are out there, and helping to bring that information forward a lot more accessibly compared to what might have been before as well.
Awesome. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
See ya.